Tim Vickery's here. Hello.
Hello, very good evening to you.
Would you have expected much else from Ronaldo? I just
No.
throw? I don't know if you heard that text.
I did, yeah. I think you hit the nail on the proverbial. There's obviously the danger here that we're conflating greatness with a moralist approach. But I think your point was perfect. That's how he became the great player that he became. Is that single-minded focus, and the tragedy of the end of his career is that for so much of his career, his ego has been good for the teams that he's been playing in, because getting the best out of him worked for everyone, and now that's no longer the case. His ego has now become an impediment to the working of the successful working of the teams that he plays for.
Tim, World Cups mean expedited news cycles, so this is the first time I've spoken to you since Brazil were dumped out. It's amazing, really. We talked to you for years in advance, routinely checking in on Brazil, and now it feels like ancient history since they were dumped out. So they were, to be fair to them, unfortunate with injury, and Croatia had their shot. They were single shot pretty much in the game, and happened to go in.
Well, it was, yeah.
Yeah, so...
And deflected.
And deflected. So... What are we to say then of Brazil? Is it outright failure, or can we be more nuanced?
Well, to lose again to a European side in the quarterfinals, and they're getting smaller. You know, last time it was Belgium, 11.5 million of them. Now it's Croatia, 4 million, breaking the hearts of more than 210 million Brazilians. Very, very frustrating. Yes, clearly unfortunate. Unfortunate with the injuries as well, because we've seen, this was clear, I think, after 5 minutes, and we've found out subsequently, Richarlison was in no position to be in the field, and that's so important, because that's the press. That got them 2 goals against South Korea, and without the press, it's easy for Croatia to get the ball to their midfield and then just take the heat out of the game. And just run the clock down and dictate things their rhythm. Now, if they'd had Gabriel Jesus, whip him on, perfect for but he's gone. So what do? Against an opponent who's difficult to break down, you need your players from the back, your fullbacks perhaps. Alexandro crashing into the attacking line as an element of surprise. That's been one of the things they've worked on, but he's not there. He's not fit. He came on for the last 15 minutes of extra time. They've had to improvise with both fullbacks. They ended up sending, after half-time, sending Eder Militão forward as much as possible, and he didn't do badly. It was heroic. But it's strange how fine the margins are. It's been one of the lessons of this World Cup, because one uncharacteristic moment, you could never imagine this team conceding that goal. You could never imagine it. It's a team that's been so defensively solid, but you see what pressure and tiredness can do, because usually the team will move up as a block. And there you get a situation when half the team moves up as a block and the other half stays back, and Croatia can get that counter-attack starting there in the middle, in that hole. Casemiro makes a wrong option, an unnecessary option. He dives in the wrong side trying to win the ball. Had he just stayed goal side, Modric can't turn him. So just one moment. Also, though, we can step back a little bit and say, let's take the South Korea game away. You don't win the World Cup in exhibition games. You win it in the tough games. And although they looked, that one moment aside, solid, against the European teams, in fact, every game apart from South Korea, they didn't score in the first half. I don't think things clicked as well as they should have clicked. One thing you see in the World Cup, you see this very clearly in Argentina, you can come to the World Cup with an idea. And as the military folk will tell you, any plan dies the moment on first contact with the enemy. And Brazil, I think, have been playing whack-a-mole a little bit, in that through last year, it looked like the best part of the team was the partnership through the middle of Neymar and Lucas Paquetá. Then the wingers explode. And initially, the team wasn't for Vinicius. It was Rafinha. And then Vinicius explodes as well. And in the World Cup, he produced, the first 3 games he played, his best 3 for Brazil. You got a centre-forward as well. Richarlison had kind of selected himself. He'd scored 7 in 6 coming into the World Cup. And so you had a team with 2 wingers and a centre-forward who doesn't contribute to the elaboration. He scores and he presses. but he can't drop and combine. That's not his game. And they ended up losing that combination through the middle. Paquetá and Neymar were too far apart. And in that great goal that they scored, which was both a great individual goal and a great collective goal,
yes,
they brought on Rodrigo because they wanted a winger who could give them more through the centre. And finally, you had something of Neymar and Paquetá together, and it got them a goal, a fantastic goal. But they didn't have enough of that during the tournament. But had that game finished 5 minutes earlier, we'd be talking about Neymar rising to the occasion and Brazil finding the formula.
Well,
it's
indeed.
So very, very cruel.
And that's where I wanted to go next, actually, because I don't know, will he be around in 4 years? He'll certainly be a more fringe figure. And we had talked about this World Cup as the decisive one for Neymar, who, to be fair, has been unlucky with injury at World Cups and the timing of World Cups. And anytime we've discussed him, I've made it very clear I don't rate his professionalism. But I did, as he scored that, and I agree, sensational goal, I did think to myself, wow, if he has another moment or two like this and powers Brazil to a World Cup, even I will have to reassess Neymar's career. And so where does this leave him now?
Well, I think you'll probably get another chance. And he did say going into the World Cup, this would probably be his last. He's not sure if he wants to play for Brazil again. He's saying he's psychologically destroyed. But the next one's only 3.5 years away. And I'd be very, very surprised if he doesn't have one last chance.
What age is he now?
So he's coming up 31. So he'll be 34 for the next one. One of the problems is, and this is reflected in the injuries that he picks up, he's fouled a lot. Although on the players these days, they get protection that the likes of Diego Maradona can only dream about. But he is fouled a lot. But some of that is an option. Some of that is him calling the foul.
Yeah,
he's not a street footballer. He's part of the tragedy of modern Brazil in a way, in that the street footballer has been replaced because so many of the urban streets have become unsafe. So you get them inside with futsal. There's always a referee.
Yes, and
his protection, the street footballer learns when to do the dribble and when to get rid of the ball, because you're going to get a kick in, especially if you're a frail little kid. And you can humiliate people. Neymar, his defence has always been the referee, has always been to be fouled and say to the referee, I'm being fouled. Now, I think he's going to have to adjust. He's going to have to have a rethink on this if he's going to prolong his career. Because if not, he's going to pick up more and more injuries as he just loses that vital half yard.
Yes.
Can he do that rethink? Well, we don't know. We shall see. But I should be fascinated to see the next chapters.
That's so interesting. As you were talking there, I just found myself thinking of Jack Wilshere, whose ankles were hacked really to the extent that his career was curtailed. And he was so adroit at presenting the ball and at the last minute getting his foot there and getting the ball away. And of course, his foot is still there when tackle comes in.
I remember by coincidence, this is September 2010, for one of his early games when he was first coming onto the scene. It was a Champions League game, Arsenal against Braga, and I just couldn't believe him. It was Fabregas and Wiltshire, the sorcerer and his apprentice. Now, I have no Arsenal sympathies. My sympathies are at the other end of the Seven Sisters Road, but I was blown away by him, and I had such high hopes. And tragically, as you've said, I think those glass ankles meant that we never got to see the best of him.
So is Chiche being dismantled by all around, or is there an understanding that there was a degree of bad luck?
Well, in the history of Brazilian football, usually when they win, the players get the credit, and when they lose, the coach gets the criticism. Right. So yes, he is. I think which is unfair. And he did have 2 goes at the World Cup and got knocked out in the quarterfinals both times. But I think the work has been done with competence and dignity and probably deserved better luck. I do wish they'd have had more central midfield play. I think that the 2 wingers plus a non-Harry Kane style centre forward, I came to the decision, and you have to wait to the World Cup to see the evidence, that it wasn't the best, that more play through the middle would have helped. It would have helped the wingers. Would have helped just play one of them. Bring a winger into the game on more advantageous terms. So I think they got carried away a little bit with the idea of the 2 wingers and Richarlison as a centre forward, and they didn't get to face one of the real heavyweights. And I'm fascinated to see how that would have gone. I'm sad that we didn't get to see that.
And then just to rub salt into the wound, they had to watch Argentina tear this Croatian team apart.
Oh yes, yes. It's really strange, actually, the atmosphere in Brazil. I mean, they can be very, very cruel to their own team. And there's more support for Argentina than I think there's been in the past. Part of that is Messi. Part of that is just the joy of the party that's going on in the stadiums, and the you don't know where the team finishes and the supporters start, and that's captivating. But part of that is also almost jealousy. It's a way of getting at their own players. Look what Argentina were. Argentina just walked all over the side that eliminated us. Now, obviously, every game is its own story, and if you take that too far, you take that one stage further and you declare that Saudi Arabia are moral champions of the World Cup. So I don't think that's every game is its own story. And Croatia were allowed, especially for the first half hour, they were allowed to do more against Argentina than they ever did against Brazil. But that does bring pangs of jealousy to see Argentina rolling over an opponent that they tripped on. And
so, like on Brazilian TV and Brazil generally, is Messi a celebrated figure? Like, this guy's a genius, and we love him too. Yeah, it's universal.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's huge all over South America. Huge, and I think there's a real. Some are anti-Argentina. And some will take the ABA approach, which is not Amateur Boxing Association. It's anyone but Argentina. But I'm feeling more. In fact, I did 4 hours of Brazilian TV today, and this is one of the things we talked about. There seems to be more sympathy for Argentina and support for Argentina than anyone can remember. And a lot of that has to do with love for Messi's last dance.
Yeah, I think the whole world is kind of on that gravy train now. Give us, we've about a minute and a half, give us your English thoughts on England.
I thought they were great. I thought it was a fabulous game. It's probably just a better game than France against Morocco, which was much, much better than I expected as well. But there's a generation coming there. Our best performances are always defeats in World Cup. Brazil 1970, West Germany in 70, West Germany in 90. I thought it was a terrific game. And
this was your best defeated performance in some time.
Yes. I thought in Portuguese there's a temporary verb for to be and there's a permanent verb for to be. And as I was watching it, I was thinking England are better in the temporary sense of the verb to be, but France are better in the permanent sense of the verb to be, meaning France can get a goal when they need it. And England, we only scored one penalty and another penalty and maybe another one we should have had.
Yes, and nothing gilt-edged. There's no Gaza almost got there. There was nothing really beyond the penalties.
Yes. Well, first half, I love Bellingham. Just sensational tournament and a sensational game. But have we got any time to get into a preview of the final? Because I think at least
we've 90 seconds. Sorry, yes, give us your thoughts on that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think from an England point of view, at least we've probably lost to the champions.
You think so?
I always expected Argentina to go out in the semis because I thought they'd be playing Brazil, Spain, or Germany. They haven't played anyone with the firepower that France can throw at them. They've been really impressive. The way that Scaloni has adapted to the World Cup. And there's a little tweak here and a little tweak there. What hasn't worked, and that's been really, really impressive. But you always wonder about the defensive unit, and now they're coming up against the serious firepower. So I'd love it for Argentina to win, but my favourites are France.
Okay, very good. We appreciate it because I'll be honest, Tim, if I had just done 4 hours on television, I'm not sure I'd be taking a call from off the ball straight after. So good man, thank you.
My pleasure, thank you.